How many networking conversations have you had that were, well, a bit dull? Maybe you talked about, what do you do? Where are you from? How far did you have to come today? And then you had to get on with the weather. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't cover those items, but if they are the whole conversation, well, you're not going to get very far. So here's some ways to make your conversations more interesting when networking. The first question I suggest using to make your conversation interesting is, what are you into? What interests do you have? And I'm talking outside business. We're talking things that people really like to do. Now, it's not to say that conversations can't be about business, but when you get to talk about something you're both interested in, especially if you can find some common ground, that's when relationships really start to form. So whether that common ground is you've both got kids of the same age, or you both like triathlons, or you both went to Greece last week, that gets the conversation much more interesting because it creates that bond. Next question you can ask is, what's the best thing about whatever it is you do? Now, I appreciate you're going to have to ask, what do you do first to get to that question, but it's so much more interesting when you hear about the things that people really enjoy about what they do. It's going to enliven the conversation, it's going to make them smile, it's going to make them more interesting. And the last one I've got for you is, how did you get into whatever it is you do? Now again, instead of just asking what it is you do, you're getting to find more interesting facts out about it, perhaps taking people back into the past, maybe a few months, maybe many years, but it takes them back to the point where they started their business or got excited about their industry, or maybe you'll hear a story about how they realised that they had a real product or a service to sell. So don't spend too long talking about the weather. Get the conversation round to those sort of questions that will help you build a relationship.